I'm ready as well. Shorter slate in Major League Baseball, but we're inching that much closer, Donnie, to the postseason in the NBA, and of course
Yeah.
that something called the Final Four, I think, is just around the corner.
Final Four is on Saturday, but how about last night? The Utah Jazz, getting 17 to get killed, Donnie. They covered that spread exactly the way we wanted them to do that. But now it's time for the hottest topic out there. It's Joe. Grab your cup of Joe. Fill it up. Let's get after it. What's that hot topic?
All right, Donnie. So today we need to talk about another shining example of the absolute circus that college basketball and the portal has become. And not just, Donnie, on the college level, but on the high school level as well. And here's what I mean. We learned yesterday that Dior Johnson is looking to take his skills to another school next season. Now, Johnson, for those of you that don't know, played for Tarleton State last year. And by the way, the kid can flat out play. He averaged 24 points a game, which made him the second leading scorer in the nation, only behind what is likely the number one pick in the NBA draft this year, in A.J. Dybantsa. But yesterday, he announced he's entering the transfer portal again. Folks, if you are keeping track at home, sharpen the pencil. Because Dior Johnson is currently shopping, you ready for this? His 14th educational institution. That is correct. You heard it. 14th educational institution. This guy is 23 years old, about to be 23 years old, and he's treating school enrollment like a punch card at one of Donnie's former sandwich shops. Just think about the resume for a second. Because before he even reached the college ranks, he attended 9 different high schools. 9. I don't even know how you pass a single class or build a transcript or get any friends when you're packing up your locker every Tuesday. Are we really still pretending that any of this is about getting a college degree? Then he gets to the college level. He goes to Pitt. Well, that didn't work out. He pleads guilty to assault charges. Never plays a single minute for him. Then he bounces down to the junior college ranks in Texas. Then he transfers to UCF, where he averaged a whole 3 points a game. And then he dropped down to Tarleton State last year and lights up the scoreboard and immediately decides time to hit the road once again. It's a shining example of how long you can milk this system just to avoid actually growing up and having to become an adult. Long gone, Donnie, are the days when you picked a school, put in the work, took your lumps, and eventually entered the real world. Now, you just keep hitting the transfer portal until you run out of eligibility or run out of athletic directors willing to look the other way. If only we could turn back the clock, Donnie. But here's one thing I'm hoping. I just hope Dior Johnson is at least getting a big, fat sponsorship from a moving company, Donnie, because he's on his way to his 14th school one way or the other next year.
That's how you use the NIL right there, Joe. You maybe should be checking in there as his agent at this point. Accountability and also acceptance there in the university. I'll leave next year if I don't like what's going on. Or, hey, coach, you gave me a chance to play here and I did well. Peace. I'm out of here. Thanks for the time. Let me cash in that paycheck. It is what it is in today's world, Joe. Let's get to those hot topics here on a Thursday, which includes Tiger Woods. Now, let me set the stage for this one, because Tiger Woods can now leave the country to get treatment here for his addiction. But he keeps on saying he can't stay in the country or get a driver, Joe, because why? It's too much publicity, and he still wants to have his privacy. Presidents, movie stars have drivers. They've gone to addiction clinics here in the United States and have done well with that. But apparently Tiger's like, I got to get out of the country. And let me understand this, Joe. What? He's not a worldwide star. Like if he goes to France, nobody will know who he is. Did I miss something here?
Just screams personal responsibility, doesn't it, Donnie? Are you feeling it, Donnie? Are you feeling the level of personal responsibility here? Yeah, no. This is just another in a long line of excuses as to how he can just go out of sight, out of mind, right, Donnie?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Tiger is hoping for.
Chicago Bears, we're going to know in a little bit, Joe, where they want to be. Is it in Arlington Heights? Is it going to be the same spot as Soldier Field? Is it going to be in Indiana? They'll let you know sometime here in the spring. How about that?
What? it feels like everybody and their mother has something to say about where the Chicago Bears should play football. The answer is very simple as to what should happen here, but of course, they're making this more convoluted than it needs to be. Just get the funding and build the stadium or re-improve the one where it's at, and we can all stop talking about it.
All this means is Chicago, get your money up, and we'll give you some time, and then we'll make that decision for you there. Shout out to Indiana for trying their best, but also raising the price on them staying in Chicago. That's what heroes do. Elliot Cadeau, he had a reaction, Joe, and it wasn't a good one here. We saw him getting carted out into an ambulance, but seems to be okay. An allergic reaction. Did he have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when he wasn't supposed to have the peanut butter? What happened?
I don't know. It sounds like what, shellfish? Like what's going on here, Donnie? Listen, it's always good to be carrying that EpiPen. You never know, Donnie. You just never know.
No, you don't. How about Paul Skeens? One thing we do know, Joe, is he wasn't going to have a 67 ERA for the entirety of the season. Skeens, back to being Skeens. Why? Because fielders were just making the plays they were supposed to make, Joe. That's simple.
Well, and kudos to the lineup for actually scoring some runs for him, too, which is even better. I mean, they scored early, gave him the lead, and listen, you give Paul Skeens a few runs advantage there, it's going to be very hard to come back on him.
What a bum. Still a 9 ERA. Early in the season, I get it. We'll see if Skeens reacts throughout the rest of the year and gets down to his normal 1.5 ERA that he likes to tote here. Tom Izzo goes, you know what? I was seriously considering taking the head coaching job of the Suns. No, you weren't. Just a good storyline. Stop the man. You're never leaving Michigan State.
He's not leaving there. You know, him and Bill Self crack me up. Like, oh, are you leaving? You're not leaving? Like, are you, or you want to go to the, no, you don't. Like that ship has long sailed for you there, Coach Izzo. Stay right there at Michigan State till it's all over.
The NBA or WNBA's Liberty here. Yeah, business as usual. Back in business, ready to watch some games. How about this, Joe Stewart and Ionescu to re-sign with the team? Give me Liberty or give me death.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, getting ready, gearing up here, Donnie. WNBA will be back here before we know it, and some familiar faces, apparently, on some familiar teams, which is never a bad thing.
No, it's not. And by the way, NBA Europe here, Joe. You ever see this meme where the guy's hiding behind a tree and it's like, let me sink my teeth into this here. The reason I bring this up is the NBA Europe draws are now exceeding $1 billion here. And the only thing I can think of, Joe, is the NFL is going like, imagine how much we could charge for a team in Barcelona, even if it wrecks our league, the amount of money that we can make. NBA Europe, fantastic. Leave it alone. Just don't have anything to do with the NBA or get the illusion, Joe, like, we can put 4 or 5 teams over there and then teams can go play them and they can be included in the NBA. Don't do. Joe, can we just have our things here in North America and keep our sanity?
Yeah, well, you know, history has a nasty way, Donnie, to your point of repeating itself, because the NFL tried NFL Europe, and boy, that didn't work out all
World
that
football,
well.
The Rhine Fire? Come on.
Yeah, I tell you what, makes total sense for the NBA because half of the league now is coming from the Eastern European bloc there with these 7-footers all over the place. So, yeah, I don't blame the NBA for wanting to start a league there.
Look, the EPL is famous. There's a reason why they don't have franchises in the United States. Would they make more money? Yes. Would it be stupid? Absolutely. Keep your sanity. NBA, North America. NFL, North America. It's not hard, people. Make me commissioner. I got it covered. The hot topics, you see they get started, we're going to keep rolling them over. Come on back with us after the break.
So much to get into.
So much to get into, so little time. Listen, this is a time of year where it's great basketball. Teams that have to be at their best. Some teams at their best for 40 minutes. Some teams at their best for 36 minutes. But at the end of the day, you got to play your best 40. Otherwise, you're going home like we saw over the last couple of days.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Massive shift in the sports landscape that the national media desperately does not want to admit. And I am talking about Major League Baseball officially overtaking the NBA as the second most popular sport in America, and the momentum has completely flipped. Numbers don't lie.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Myles Garrett's getting traded, and I think the Eagles make the most sense for the trade. The Browns need a wide receiver.
They do.
They need as many picks as possible. The Eagles are built to win right now. So where do they pick 20 what? Do you have that?
I believe it's 23.
All right, so let's assume it's 23. You give up the 23rd overall pick.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Discussion in March was, this ABS is ruining everything. There's challenges in the second inning and the third inning. And yes, for CB Buckner, that has been the case. But for every other umpire in Major League Baseball, what you're seeing, Donnie, is exactly what you said. This is going to normalize. We did see a lot of success in the first couple of days of the season.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
On a Thursday here. We're almost to the weekend here. We got to get caught up on all those big-time games and the action that you need to know tonight, and it starts in the Association, Joe. Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Detroit Pistons. This line overnight at some outlets, Joe, opened up at -1.5. That's not what we're seeing right now. It's -3.5 at just about every outlet I'm looking at right now. If you take a look at the total, 225.5 overnight. That hasn't moved and is staying at 225.5. The Timberwolves on the road to take on the Pistons, and the line is increasing in Detroit's favor. What's your spread line tonight on T-Wolves Pistons, Joe?
Well, listen, I mean, Minnesota really, as far as the seeding goes, really only needs to hold off Phoenix to get that berth in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs, and they lead the Suns by 4.5 games. So the Timberwolves, I think, have won 5 of their last 7 here. They did get Anthony Edwards back, which is important. But, you know, the big question is, what is Detroit going to look like without Cade Cunningham? And the answer is they're 6-2 without him since he's gone down. So it doesn't shock me, Detroit at home. Both teams had off last night, coming in here with the injury report looks pretty good for both. I don't think we're going to be expecting a ton of guys sitting in this one here tonight. So it doesn't shock me because Detroit has actually done a pretty good job here against Minnesota. I think the money is going that way for a reason here tonight. And I like Detroit. Barring nobody gets, all of a sudden last second, Durant's sitting, Oscar Thompson sit. Everyone is sitting. I do think here Detroit holds serve at home tonight.
Let's go on the West Coast here and talk about the Golden State Warriors taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. 2 things we know. Cleveland's still trying to jockey for playoff positioning, but it looks like the Golden State Warriors, Joe, they're probably going to settle in as that 10 seed in the play-in. So they asked Steve Kerr just a few days ago, hey, when's Steph coming back? I was going to start scrimming. There is no rush at this point. They just want him healthy for the playoff run. And then you see the line here, Joe, -10.5 as a favorite for Cleveland on the road taking on the Warriors, and a total of 227.5. What's that spread line for you here, Joe?
Yeah, well, unfortunately for the Warriors last night, they ran into the San Antonio Spurs. I think that had a 70-48 lead at the half, and that was pretty much all she wrote. But Porzingis didn't play with that in that game last night. Melton did. It's always important. I mean, they're shorthanded as it is, Golden State, so it's kind of important to know who exactly is playing for Golden State and who won't be. But listen, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're in the midst of a pretty long road trip here to end the season right now. They got caught last game. Are we expecting a bounce back? I mean, the Lakers beat them up pretty good there a couple of nights ago. I tend to think this is a good bounce back spot for the Cleveland Cavaliers here. Golden State is just, at this point, against decent teams, kind of unbettable.
By the way, who's going to want to take on the Spurs in the playoffs here? They didn't even lose anymore at this point. Could they chase down OKC for that #1 overall seed? Crazy times here. Let's flip it over to college basketball. Nope, not talking about the Final Four. The crown? Nope, not here. It's the NIT, Joe. How about an NIT Final Four? Tulsa taking on New Mexico, 7 o'clock start tonight. This line opened up at 4.5 overnight. Now you see the graphic at 3.5 at most outlets. We're expecting points tonight, Joe, with a 161.5 total. Tulsa, New Mexico, NIT style. What's your spread line here?
I mean, did anybody have this as being your one of your semifinal games here in the NIT here? But we're at that point here. And by the way, these are all at Hinkle Fieldhouse. So this is in Indy. It's a neutral court. They're not at the pit, which would have been big-time advantage to New Mexico. Listen, Tulsa wants to win by shooting threes from the outside. They're very good at it, Donnie. They've been one of the better teams in the country at it all season long. New Mexico is going to want to play physical. They're going to want to dominate the boards, and they're going to want to make you earn everything. So who wins this game? Tulsa loves playing in firefights. New Mexico, not so much here. I think more so than a side, Donnie, I think the total in this game, which we've seen now, at 161, it has not moved since it opened. So the market is not sure where to go with this. Something tells me, though, if you like Tulsa, you like the over. If you like New Mexico, you like the under for sure in this one tonight.
MVC style, Illinois State going to take on SEC Auburn here. This line opened up overnight, Joe, 6.5. Still sits at 6.5 at most outlets in a total of 149.5. The other half of the Final Four in the NIT. What's your spread line for this one?
Big question in all of this. This is another one, too. Like, did you have Auburn, Illinois State in the NIT semifinal? Like, nope, here we are. And nobody thought Auburn was going to care one way or the other about the NIT. And Steve Pearl's done a fantastic job of keeping these guys motivated. But to this point in the NIT, Donnie, it does feel like they've kind of just played with their food here a little bit, right? I mean, South Alabama, they won by 11. Seattle by 6. Nevada by 6. All teams, they should have been blown out by 20 or more points here, but they haven't done that. In the meantime, Illinois State has been playing their best basketball of the season down the stretch here. I love what they did to Dayton, which I thought was great. They beat the snot out of Wake Forest. They are suffocating here. This is one of those games, Donnie, where I only want the points. I don't, yes, Auburn is the better team, but when push comes to shove, Illinois State is not going to sit there and get run over. I kind of like the points here with Illinois State, and we're starting to see the market agree with that. 7.5 to open. Now we're starting to see 6 and 6.5 in the market. So looks like the money's coming in on Illinois State early this morning.
NIT used to be somewhat of a big deal. Used to play in Madison Square Garden. Now it's no longer the case. And here we are waiting for the real Final Four this weekend here. But we got Major League Baseball to talk about tonight. 9:45, and the San Francisco Giants, I guess, getting all their New York teams out of the way early. They're going to take on the New York Mets. It's going to be Peterson versus Ray on the mound. Slight favorite to the Mets at around a -126 price. And a total, Joe, of 7.5. Mets, Giants tonight. Late night. What's the spread line here for you?
Oh, it is not going well for the Giants, who lose again yesterday. And then in the middle of the game here, Casey Schmidt, the first baseman, getting ripped by third baseman Matt Chapman for not staying on the bag on a play at first. It's already, we're a weekend, Donnie, and already the Giants are pointing fingers and yelling at one another. Yeah, don't trust them in this spot against the Mets either.
Got some big dogs winning some games early. I think a plus 300 or plus 275 won yesterday. Could it be? And also, get ready for what Sandy Alcantara said about the fan, not with an S, down in Miami.
So much to get into.
So much to get into, so little time. Listen, this is a time of year where it's great basketball. Teams that have to be at their best. Some teams at their best for 40 minutes. Some teams at their best for 36 minutes. But at the end of the day, you got to play your best 40. Otherwise, you're going home like we saw over the last couple of days.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
massive shift in the sports landscape that the national media desperately does not want to admit. And I am talking about Major League Baseball officially overtaking the NBA as the second most popular sport in America. And the momentum has completely flipped. Numbers don't lie.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Myles Garrett's getting traded, and I think the Eagles make the most sense for the trade. The Browns need a wide receiver.
They do.
They need as many picks as possible. The Eagles are built to win right now. So where do they pick 20 what? Do you have that?
I believe it's 23.
All right, so let's assume it's 23. You give up the 23rd overall pick.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Discussion in March was, this ABS is ruining everything. There's challenges in the second inning and the third inning. And yes, for CB Buckner, that has been the case. But for every other umpire in Major League Baseball, what you're seeing, Donnie, is exactly what you said. This is going to normalize. We did see a lot of success in the first couple of days of the season.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball a week underway into the season here, and a lot of fun that we saw opening week, and now it's week number 2. Teams are on the road, home games with, hey, it's all going to be a home opener just about out the door. But the one thing we always thought was kind of interesting was Paul Skeens just might be the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. Paul Skeens with a 67 ERA after day number 1. Wasn't all that flattering here. And then Paul Skeens says, you know what, man, let me get after the Reds here. I should be just fine. Has a great start. And how about this from ESPN Insights? Paul Skeens went 31 consecutive innings without allowing a run against the Reds. That's the longest streak by a Pirates pitcher against any one opponent in the last 60 seasons. Man wants to see the Reds every day here, Joe.
Yeah, and you notice who hit the home run and put him ahead early in that game, too. The same guy that caused them to leave the game before the first inning was over, O'Neal Cruz. So, yeah, it looks like all is well again in Pittsburgh. And, yeah, not as many strikeouts as I thought he would have yesterday, Donnie. I think he landed on 5 altogether here. But all in all, kind of in cruise control there once they started playing from in front, and a couple of empty netters at the end for the Reds. But that game was never in doubt at all with Skeens on the mound.
No, it wasn't. Let's go down to the fish tank down in South Florida. Sandy Alcantara's first complete game since 2023, and it's a shutout, it says. 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 7 strikeouts here. Alcantara was once one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, derailed by injuries. Now looks like, Joe, he's back in the form, huh?
Well, once was. I could make the argument, Donnie, through a couple of starts here. Now he's, over a year removed from the injury. Kind of worked out the kinks a little bit last year coming back. And I could make the argument he looks like, he is back to form and maybe even better here. So the big question with him, and who would have thunk it? Anybody had the Marlins starting 5-1 on the season, shutting teams out, scoring double-digit runs, but something tells me he might not be wearing a Marlins uniform the rest of the year at some point.
Yeah, baseball doing Miami a favor with their scheduling so far, and hopefully the fans will turn out and get excited. And then there's what Sandy Alcantara said here, talking to the reporter.
Sandy, your 13th career complete game. What makes this one a little different?
A lot of different, so it's been a long time without throwing a complete game, but this one is special for me. All my family here. Fans is not here, but we still love them, because we know this is a hard sport, and they know what sometimes they gotta do something. They work the house, but yeah, today was great for me.
Did you break a sweat?
I do. I just hard to sweating, I don't know why, because I work so hard, and I just keep it there,
At what point are you starting to think, okay, I've got the pitch count, I think I can go a complete game, 9 innings?
Since last outing. Yeah, I think I was ready for, 73 pitcher last game. They take me out of the game. Those are decisions that I gotta respect. But today was my moment. It's not gonna happen today.
One of the big things last year, guys were jumping you early. They were hitting that first pitch. And the approach is still the same offensively from these first two opponents. What do you think has been different about this year?
I think more strike, more aggressive on the sun, and less behind the count, and use great combo between pitches. And my catcher was doing great today. Shout out to Liam. And yeah, great work by all team.
Great win. Thank you for the time. Congratulations, Sandy.
You're welcome, brother.
All right, Jack, back to you.
By the way, there's so much to go over in that interview, and of course he cracks the joke there, and he's right, but understand this too. If the Yankees organization, or let's just say the Dodgers organization, acted the same exact way as the Marlins organization, no single fan would go to those games either. I don't care. Oh, the city doesn't like baseball, the way they treat their fans. Can you imagine if you had a legitimate ownership group in South Florida? The players would want to play there, and the fans would be absolutely wild for baseball. It's a baseball hotbed at this point. The fact that they get like 5,000 fans a game has nothing to do with baseball fans in Miami have so many things to do to go to the beach. It's no. If you were kicked repeatedly for 20-plus years, Joe, you're not going back to the field. I don't care how new it is.
And don't care who the owner is. I mean, listen,
No.
there is a very long and abusive relationship between the Marlins organization and the fans who have no problem. I mean, listen, Miami is filled with a base of baseball fans that you would not believe, Donnie, but they are not going to continue to get, be spit in their face, and you keep telling them it's raining, which is what, Laurie had done from Laurie all the way down, to Sherman. When Jeter left, Jeter's like, they don't want to win here. Like, I can't, the fans know you stuck them with the bill for the new stadium they didn't ask for.
Yep.
I mean, you go down the list here, you're going to have to do more than pitch a complete game in the first week of the season in order to gain the trust. Not that they don't love baseball, but they don't trust the organization. And by the way, I don't think Sandy understood the reference to, did you break a sweat? I don't think he caught that.
No, he didn't. We caught it, and we'll be right back after the break, people.
So much to get into.
So much to get into, so little time. Listen, this is a time of year where it's great basketball. Teams that have to be at their best. Some teams at their best for 40 minutes. Some teams at their best for 36 minutes. But at the end of the day, you got to play your best 40. Otherwise, you're going home like we saw over the last couple of days.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Massive shift in the sports landscape that the national media desperately does not want to admit. And I am talking about Major League Baseball officially overtaking the NBA as the second most popular sport in America. And the momentum has completely flipped. Numbers don't lie.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Myles Garrett's getting traded, and I think the Eagles make the most sense for the trade. The Browns need a wide receiver.
They do.
They need as many picks as possible. The Eagles are built to win right now. So where do they pick 21? Do you have that?
I believe it's 23.
All right, so let's assume it's 23. You give up the 23rd overall pick.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Discussion in March was, this ABS is ruining everything. There's challenges in the second inning and the third inning. And yes, for CB Buckner, that has been the case. But for every other umpire in Major League Baseball, what you're seeing, Donnie, is exactly what you said. This is going to normalize. We did see a lot of success in the first couple of days of the season.
Pro baseball today, only on SportsGrid.
Joe Mazzulla, all he does is win, 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 no matter what. And after 200 games, the highest winning percentage in NBA history, Joe Mazzulla. Joe Ranieri, 723 is that winning percentage. He probably doesn't want to talk about it, but we will. Yeah.
At the right time in the right situation there. Everyone thought Udoka was going to be the future for the Celtics as that next head coach that was going to be Red Auerbach, going to be there 100 years. Yeah, that didn't work out all that well. And then this guy gets thrown into the fire afterwards. And what does he do, Donnie? He just wins games. And with the same superstars, by the way, and not a whole lot of controversy surrounding him. So talk about a calming effect. Right guy at the right time at the right place. That's for sure.
Right time, right place. That's how you get down to business. Right time, right place in Portland here. How about this news story? I'm going to read this because I had to do a double take. The Portland Trailblazers have been fined $100,000 for impermissible contact with a draft ineligible prospect in connection with Yang Hansen during the 2023-2024 NBA season. Let me ask you a question, Joe, just getting through that. We'll get to the player in itself. Is one guy working on a stack of papers up to a ceiling that would be in the Empire State Building here where he can't get to anything before 2023?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. This whole thing was very confusing. And then you come to find out that I guess Portland ratted on itself. And that's the reason why this all came down. So it's very strange with what was going on there because this kid was, shall we say, he was pretty coveted around the league here for a lot of spots, but I don't know. Is Portland trying to do this, trying to do the right thing? I give them credit. At this point, you already lost your head coach to a gambling situation there, a controversy. So I think the Blazers at this point are looking at everything and being like, send it over. We're good to go. Any line we might have crossed, let's go ahead and self-report it.
And by the way, it cost you $100,000. He drafted the guy. He averages 2.3 points per game, 1.6 rebounds per game. There, I mind you, he's 7'1", 270. But here's my favorite statistic, Joe. He shoots 31% from the floor. Aren't you, as a 7'1" center, stand under the rim, they throw it to you, and you just lay it in? Can the guy, we talked about a 7'9" center from Florida who can't get on the court, and now a 7'1" center who shoots 31% from the floor. That can't happen, Joe. It's got to be at least 80%. Come on.
Well, usually, guys that at 19, Donnie, when they were looking at him, right? 7'1", 7'2", and you're like, oh, boy, they're going to have to feed this kid. It's not like he's not Chet Holmgren. This is a dude who's 270 pounds. You ain't pushing him around all that easy, and he still can't get it going there in Portland, which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
Help me out with this. The Celtics last night, Joe, came down to South Beach. They wanted to put on a show. They scored 53 points in the first quarter and hit 11 triples, a 20-point lead. Imagine being the Heat. You scored 33 in the first quarter, and you're down 20, Joe.
This was not a tough read last night of what was going to happen, which makes the Sixers' loss even worse for them, watching what Boston did when they came down and just absolutely dismantled the Heat last night. Listen, the Heat, you want to play fast, that's great. The problem is, you play fast and you give up 150 points a game, and they've done this now on a couple of occasions, Donnie, where this game was never in doubt. Yes, the Heat, I think the closest they got was 9 points at the end of the third quarter, but that was all she wrote. You already dug yourself the hole. There was no coming out of that. And Boston, listen, they are revving up here, getting ready for another title run.
Revving up is right. How about 147 points they scored in regulation against the Heat? A 147-129 victory down on South Beach here. You saw Brown, 43 points. Didn't we talk about that yesterday on the predictive markets where Joe says, hey, maybe if Brown can stay hot, it's his team. You heard the comments here. And then I told you, well, if he gets 30-plus points, that's a big ticket in your back pocket. 43-7 for the man.
We said, he was making such a big deal after that loss the other day that he was to Atlanta, that he was like, it was worst game I played. He still dropped 24, 20. It wasn't a terrible game for Brown, but in his mind it was, which you just kind of knew, Boston has owned Miami for a while now, and they're going to continue to own Miami because they can't get out of their own way.
going to get to the awards market here in just a few moments. I'm going to bring that up. And by the way, last night we had the Spurs and the Warriors, as Joe pointed out, and the Warriors are going to play again on a back-to-back tonight, still a double-digit underdog. The Spurs came to town, dropped 127 on the Warriors to beat them by double digits. But did you see Victor Wembanyama's stat line right there, Joe? 41 points, 18 rebounds. And we're waiting for this kid to actually understand, and his body to fill out at this point. What's on the horizon? It's scary.
It's very scary. But, the matchup, once Porzingis was ruled out, what was Draymond going to keep him off the boards? There was nobody there on the Golden State Warriors that was going to be able to limit him in anything. And this has been the MO, Donnie, by the way, of the Spurs all year long. They will absolutely destroy you out of the gates. And then by the fourth quarter, Donnie, then it's just really they can rotate in 5-6 other guys because you're already down 20 and you're not coming back no matter what the final score says. So the Spurs, they are a very interesting team. If I'm OKC, I'm not thinking I'm cakewalking right back to the NBA Finals again.
So if we go to the awards market and a chance for an MVP, it was a runaway with SGA. If I'm looking right now at the FanDuel Sportsbook here, SGA down to a -360 favorite, which is still a favorite here, but Wembanyama at a +300 now, quickly on those heels of SGA. And we know one thing. Who won the MVP last year was SGA. Voters love to say, you won it last year. Somebody's close. I'll give it to the new young gun at this point. This should be a close race throughout the end of the year. And again, if we're going to get efforts like we saw last night from Wembanyama and also, Joe, from Wemby and his team, who could catch OKC in the standings as well.
Yeah, 2 games separate them, right? 58 wins, 58-18 for the Spurs, 60-16 for OKC. Listen, Donnie, you show me anybody that if they wanted to start a franchise tomorrow in the NBA, right? Hey, you're Vegas, you're Seattle. You get to pick anybody from any team. Are you picking SGA over Wembanyama to start a franchise? It's not even close to me. I'm taking Wembanyama anytime. Without him, the Spurs, they're a decent team, but they are nowhere near what they are right now.
People are just starting to hate OKC as they're revving up here, certainly for a playoff and maybe a back-to-back championship run. They're going to take on the Los Angeles Lakers tonight from OKC, a 9:30 start, Joe. And if we take a look at this line, how about this? 8.5 in the marketplace overnight. You see the graphic. They're up to 9. Only about 25% of the tickets coming in on OKC. Hint, hint. Maybe a buy. But how about this? Could this be a playoff preview for the Western Conference, Joe?
Oh, very much so here. And keep in mind, the Lakers early on in the season, for about half the season, Donnie, they could not beat quality teams like OKC. Like, they were not beating they'd beat all the bottom feeders, but they wouldn't beat the bottom feeders teams. That was until over the last month or so when they started playing some defense. And now they're beating all the good teams. They just did it to Cleveland, who is, again, a 600 winning percentage team. Yeah, I think this is far too many points to consider that they're just going to boat race a Lakers team that's finally healthy.
Let's go to another LA team late night here. Spurs and the Clippers. The reason I want to bring this up is we just saw the Spurs play last night. Wembanyama went nuts. Does he play tonight, Joe? And the Spurs are still the favorite at -4.5.
Oh, he absolutely plays tonight. Because don't think that for 1 minute they don't know that he is right there in the MVP market. So, yes, I think he absolutely plays tonight. May not play the whole game, but he's playing here tonight.
Look at that. MVP chance to take the #1 seed here. And by the way, they do own OKC at this point right now. Fun times in the association. More hot topics on their way next. Only right here on the SportsGrid Network.
So much to get into.
So much to get into, so little time. Listen, this is a time of year where it's great basketball. Teams that have to be at their best. Some teams at their best for 40 minutes. Some teams at their best for 36 minutes. But at the end of the day, you got to play your best 40. Otherwise, you're going home like we saw over the last couple of days.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
massive shift in the sports landscape that the national media desperately does not want to admit. And I am talking about Major League Baseball officially overtaking the NBA as the second most popular sport in America. And the momentum has completely flipped. Numbers don't lie.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Myles Garrett's getting traded, and I think the Eagles make the most sense for the trade. The Browns need a wide receiver.
They do.
They need as many picks as possible. The Eagles are built to win right now. So where do they pick 20 what? Do you have that?
I believe it's 23.
All right, so let's assume it's 23. You give up the 23rd overall pick.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Discussion in March was, oh, this ABS is ruining everything. There's challenges in the second inning and the third inning. And yes, for CB Buckner, that has been the case. But for every other umpire in Major League Baseball, what you're seeing, Donnie, is exactly what you said. This is going to normalize. We did see a lot of success in the first couple of days of the season.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Final Four is this weekend down in H-Town, and of course, as we like to say, Monday night championship night, and away we go into the off-season for college basketball, which many teams are already into their off-season because only 4 teams are left in major Division I college basketball playing in the NCAA tournament. Not talking about the NIT or the Crown here. But let's also hear from an AD at the College of Charleston talking about NIL.
I'm going to be blunt about it. He was a little nicer than I'll be. This is a special place, right? We invest a ton in our student athletes. We care for our student athletes. They get a tremendous experience to get an education at a phenomenal school and live in a great city, and also a place that's going to give them a leg up when they graduate. If they sit in that room and they hear that speech from those two coaches and that's not good enough for them, get out of here. Go somewhere else. If money is your motivator, you're not wanted at the College of Charleston. Okay? And that's a direct message to those student athletes. We want people that want to be here. We want people that value the College of Charleston, that value a College of Charleston degree. And in this day and age, these kids have to learn that, man. You can't, that's not real life. Going from one place to another, that's not real life. And if you did that with different newspapers, you wouldn't be employed. And that really frustrates me with the transfer part. I don't care about the money. The money is deserved. And I love the fact that these kids get financial payments. But as an industry, what we've allowed multiple years, kids going to 4 different schools in 4 years, what are we doing? Like that, we're supposed to be higher education, preparing these young men and women for life after college.
That ain't what college sports isn't anymore. It's pay to play. It's just what it is. And ADs are frustrated. Why? Because their jobs are on the line, because maybe they don't have enough money to keep those superstars. They can't attract the head coach, and you see the frustration, which is rightfully so. But at one point he goes, he likes that they get paid, and then tells you, I can't stand that they get paid because they leave.
I'm just still amazed the fact that he dropped, if you did that working for a newspaper. Well, if you worked for a newspaper in 2026, you'd be unemployed anyway, since there aren't any left. Like, stop it. Like, come on. If you're going to get to the podium and start screaming and yelling on your high horse, at least give the people some sort of analogy they can relate working for the newspaper. Unbelievable. You created this problem. Everybody involved in this sport created this problem, and now they're trying to act all high and mighty like, oh, we want people who want to be here. No, you don't. You want people who can win basketball games there. That's the only thing that it matters to you.
By the time, there was a time in professional sports where we didn't have free agency. Can you imagine that? Where like you got drafted to the Green Bay Packers and the Packers just held your rights to infinity and could pay you whatever you wanted. Same thing in Major League Baseball. We don't remember like, hey, Bryce Harper's got this money and Shohei's got this money. In the past, You never got moved, and you just say, oh, I think I'm worth 150 grand. Good, sit over there and never play again. All right, I'll take your 100,000 and play and like it at this point. We've come a long way, and I don't like the way college basketball is set up or college sports for it is, but adapt or die, as you like to say, Joe. You're going to pay the players and get the guys that you want in there, or you're not. It's as simple as that. And maybe if you're an athletic director who's upset with that, go be a professor then. Don't be the AD anymore. You don't have to get so frustrated here. How about Kansas? Is this a soap opera every year? Bill Self has to come out and say that he wants to come back and isn't going anywhere. Do we need this here? Just let us know when you retire or leave. How about that instead?
I never even knew this was actually a question, Donnie, although he got all bent out of shape when he was asked about it, right, after the loss in the tournament there. And, then all of a sudden there were, well, maybe he has had some health issues over the last couple of years, so I get that. But, I mean, the announcement and it's like, wait a minute, where do you think if Bill Self is going to go out on his own? It's not going to be after some random whooping there. This was a tough season for him and for Kansas with Peterson and all the noise around him. A guy like Bill Self, that kind of ego, he wants to go out on his own terms here. I never thought it was even in question him coming back.
And by the way, it says, with renewed clarity and ongoing support from our administration, I remain focused and committed to basketball, blah, blah, blah. I look forward to the rest, which probably means his renewed clarity and ongoing support from administration was, how about we extend your contract and give you a pay bump here? Woo! Needed that clarity to come back to Kansas. Welcome back to Fog Allen here. Sometimes you just need a commissioner that can just hold up exactly what you want to have happen. So what are you talking about, Donnie? Look at the NCAA here, Joe. After two high-profile cases in basketball this season, the NCAA Division I cabinet will consider proposed changes to eligibility rules, including one that would bar athletes who have entered and remained in professional sports for the draft for competing here. Sounds simple. Why do we even have to talk about this? Hey, I played in the NBA. Good. You can't play in the NCAA. Is it that hard?
No, what you're referring to, Donnie, is called common sense, which in many aspects here, it feels like the NCAA has completely lost touch with reality and all common sense here, and not just the NCAA. But yes, what a shocker. Like, if you leave college to go play pro and then you play in the end, then you can't come back. Yeah, no, that makes a whole lot of too much sense, Donnie, in fact.
Yeah, ask your grandpa on the Cats. Hey, Grandpa, what do you think? This guy played in the NBA. Now he's trying to go back and play for GW in college. Like, what? That doesn't make sense. Exactly. Common sense, as Joe says here. By the way, we saw the AD from NC State just a few days ago talking about we want coaches that want to be here. Now they have a coach that I guess wants to be there. Let's check it out.
It is my pleasure and honor to introduce you to your next head basketball coach, Justin Gady.
I was born here in North Carolina, played here at NC State. I understand what being on Tobacco Road is all about. I understand it. And Boo said it great in his last presser. You got to have a certain type of toughness to be here. And if you look at my career, my path, I was never the tallest guy. I was never the fastest. I wouldn't say I always shot the ball the best. But the one thing that I prided myself on was toughness. And I tried to bring that every day. And as long as I'm your head coach, you can count on that every single day, that I'm going to bring that toughness. And all of my teams and my staff and everybody that's in contact with us will have that toughness.
I always find it interesting, like NC State, right? Tobacco Road, which they are. They're in that little triangle, as we like to say, Joe. And it's like Duke gets all the highlights, so does Carolina. NC State is always like the redheaded stepchild here that never gets to be involved. Maybe they now have a coach that can get them involved, but probably not. Leave like Will Wade and have some fun with that. It is what it is, people. More hot topics continue to roll on right here on the early line.
So much to get into.
So much to get into, so little time. Listen, this is a time of year where it's great basketball. Teams that have to be at their best. Some teams at their best for 40 minutes. Some teams at their best for 36 minutes. But at the end of the day, you got to play your best 40. Otherwise, you're going home like we saw over the last couple of days.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Massive shift in the sports landscape that the national media desperately does not want to admit. And I am talking about Major League Baseball officially overtaking the NBA as the second most popular sport in America. And the momentum has completely flipped. Numbers don't lie.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Myles Garrett's getting traded, and I think the Eagles make the most sense for the trade. The Browns need a wide receiver.
They do.
They need as many picks as possible. The Eagles are built to win right now. So where do they pick 20 what? Do you have that?
I believe it's 23.
All right, so let's assume it's 23. You give up the 23rd overall pick.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Discussion in March was, this ABS is ruining everything. There's challenges in the second inning and the third inning. And yes, for CB Buckner, that has been the case. But for every other umpire in Major League Baseball, what you're seeing, Donnie, is exactly what you said. This is going to normalize. We did see a lot of success in the first couple of days of the season.
Pro Baseball today, only on SportsGrid.
NFL news and notes. We could spend an hour on this one topic alone. As the owners are meeting out there, general managers are talking, head coaches are talking, and the owners are talking to the press. Beat reporters are getting busy behind the scenes. Why? Hit piece came out yesterday morning on Jalen Hurts, standing at a crossroads with the Philadelphia Eagles. Unnamed sources say he's difficult to work with, doesn't like to adapt to change, and has really bad body language at times. It's coming from a guy who's been to 2 Super Bowls. And if they won both of them, would have been MVP in both. But he'll settle for 1 Lombardi and 1 MVP. But the Sharks are out there in the water. And that's the Eagles beat writers, the toughest bunch in the business.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing, Donnie? Like, what have you done for me lately, I guess? Otherwise, and if you haven't done anything for me lately, it's like, yep, now you're public enemy number 1 again. It just comes... Listen, comes with the territory. It's why you pay these guys the kind of money that you pay them, Donnie, because ultimately, when things aren't going swimmingly, guess who's going to get the blame? And he knows that, Jalen Hurts. He's been dealing with that since college.
Exactly. He's got a big paycheck here. You're the quarterback. It's crazy, too, because he's won at an elite. Like, if you look at the Philadelphia Eagles record since Jalen Hurts has taken over, it's like Tom Brady-esque. And it's like, that guy stinks. Now, granted, the Eagles have a very talented team. And could Jalen play better at certain times? Yes. But the dude's been to 2 Super Bowls and played phenomenal in both of those. Isn't that what you ask for out of a franchise guy? Well, maybe not from the beat writer's perspective. Here's some unhappy people inside the Eagles building. How about the NFL Players Association? They say, we want the top refs because of player safety. The heck do the refs got to do with player safety here, Joe? I understand one union sticking up for another, but come on.
Are they really trying to sell us that experienced officials matter? Like, stop it. No, like, I mean, come on, please. Experienced officials, that's why they have to be told from upstairs when to take a player off the field because it looks like he doesn't know what his name is right now. Yes, no, it's not. It's the eye in the sky that matters, Donnie. That's all this league is going to be about when it comes to referees in the future.
Rooney Rule continues to adjust in the NFL. The concept makes some sense. Give opportunities for interviews for some people that might not have the opportunity to get that interview. And maybe you wow in there, don't get that head coaching job, but owners are going to take notes and say, Joe, you know what? That guy was really good. Next time around, if we need a head coach, if he's still out there, maybe I do bring him in. A lot of people hate the Rooney Rule. A lot of people like the Rooney Rule. It's always a controversial topic here. It looks like it's going to stick around in the NFL.
Right, but at the same time, I think it's also proven to be a league, Donnie, that is all about best person for the job, period.
Yes.
And that's what it's always been about. You know, nobody cared. The NFL is absolutely the what have you done for me lately league of all leagues here. They don't care about anything except winning and making money. So they don't really much care about anything else. So you know, it's kudos, but I don't see any of that changing anytime soon.
Now, and by the way, understand this point. Maybe 50, 60 years ago, where thoughts were backwards there, we've come a long way at this point. And to think in this day and age, it's like, well, the owner doesn't want to have a minority, whether it be, you know, an African-American or, you know, Asian, that's going to be running my franchise here. But think about this, Joe. If you say to yourself, like, well, then how's the league made up so many of minorities that are playing and playing at a high level? Wouldn't it just be all players that the owner actually wanted? No, these owners want to win now at all costs at this point. Best man for the job gets the job every single time. Owners aren't going to self-sabotage their team because they just want their best friend a head coach. Again, maybe 30, 40 years ago, that could have been the case. Not in today's day and age here. The Jaguars, how about this? How many times are they going to restructure their stadium around? They're going to play in Orlando in 2027 at this point. Jacksonville, just move to Barcelona like you always wanted to do anyway.
Don, they've been talking about renovations there in Jacksonville, and it's due. I mean, and listen, you know, Khan, the owner there, they have the money. They're more than capable, and it's going to be, I saw some of the plans the other day on what they're planning on doing there. It's going to be state of the art. I mean, it's going to be really, really cool, but it's going to take a little time, obviously, to get it done.
Yeah, in the next segment there, we'll hear a little bit of Shad Khan here. We got some other topics that I want to get to, which includes Odell Beckham Jr. It's not, 2012 anymore at this point. Why is this guy at owners meeting saying I could play and goes, did you watch that tape of when I was out there and playing some football and flag football, Joe? Why do we have to hear from this guy still?
I have no. Listen, here's another thing, Donnie, that I know without a doubt in the NFL. If anybody, any team, any coach thinks that you can bring something to the table to help them win games, you will be signed. You don't have to beg. They will find you and they will sign you if they think you make a difference.
Correct. And even if you have a rap sheet, as long as your arm, you can play football, they'll give you an opportunity. The one thing they won't give an opportunity to is you can't play football there and might be a distraction. How about that? Hour number 2 is on its way next. We're only getting started. 1 hour down, 1 to go. Let's go.
So much to get into.
So much to get into, so little time. Listen, this is a time of year where it's great basketball. Teams that have to be at their best. Some teams at their best for 40 minutes. Some teams at their best for 36 minutes. But at the end of the day, you got to play your best 40. Otherwise, you're going home like we saw over the last couple of days.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Massive shift in the sports landscape that the national media desperately does not want to admit. And I am talking about Major League Baseball officially overtaking the NBA as the second most popular sport in America. And the momentum has completely flipped. Numbers don't lie.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Myles Garrett's getting traded, and I think the Eagles make the most sense for the trade. The Browns need a wide receiver.
They do.
They need as many picks as possible. The Eagles are built to win right now. So where do they pick 21? Do you have that?
I believe it's 23.
All right, so let's assume it's 23. You give up the 23rd overall pick.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Discussion in March was, this ABS is ruining everything. There's challenges in the second inning and the third inning. And yes, for CB Buckner, that has been the case. But for every other umpire in Major League Baseball, what you're seeing, Donnie, is exactly what you said. This is going to normalize. We did see a lot of success in the first couple of days of the season.
Pro Baseball today, only on SportsGrid.
Hour number 2 on a Thursday right here on the early line. Hot topics, they continue to flow. You know, we get down to business Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're 2 days away from the weekend, which does have the Final Four and championship game on Monday. A lot of Major League Baseball, a lot of NBA, a lot of ramping up. The Masters tournament next week. Warm temperatures here in the Northeast, and then they dip back to 50 degrees today, and everybody's probably going to get sick, Joe. But that's how we get down to business. It's hour number 2 of the early line. It's time to get it cranking, huh?
I know what you mean, Don. I mean, it was 83 the other day, and then it was 75 yesterday. I mean, it's that kind of fluctuating in temperatures. Not good. Don't want to get the sniffles, my friend.
Don't want to get the sniffles here, so let's get right to the hottest topics across the sports landscape here, Joe. The early lineup ready to go with Tiger Woods. This is an interesting one, again, that we continue to bring up, where unless Tiger Woods is probably doing the best for himself right now and says, I need help and attention, which, again, is counterproductive of him saying he's pleading not guilty, but yet he's going away for substance abuse. That really contradicts itself. But also the fact that he says, I'm too famous to have any driver drive me around but myself, even if I'm a detriment to society. And also, I'm way too famous to stay in the continental United States here and go to a rehab. I need to get out of country. Where is he going, Joe? Antarctica?
And well, that's the whole point of that, Donnie, is that you won't know where he's going, but, you know, you won't be able to find him in South Florida anytime soon, or any sort of, you know, San Diego rehab or wherever it might he might be heading. So, yes, out of sight, out of mind. And what better place to do? He's got a better chance of that happening, I think, overseas, of not being able to locate him than he does here in the U.S.
Hey, you know, it'll be interesting because the paparazzi are very good at their job. Word leaks out. I don't care how private you are. They're going to find out where Tiger is. Is it an island? Is it Mark Zuckerberg's giant new yacht that he has right now, that mega cruise ship to himself, where he can just have his rehab there? But Tiger Woods seeking rehab. We'll see when he comes back. Imagine if none of this happened here, Joe. He'd probably be suiting up as a major storyline in the Masters. Now it's a major storyline on him getting himself help and cleaning himself up. Chicago Bears, we've heard about this story before. We would like to stay in the city of Chicago. That's not going to work. You know what? We're going to buy a plot of land out there in Arlington Heights, and we're going to build there. You're telling us how much taxes we're going to have to pay? Oh, you know what? Hammond, Indiana is the place to be. Congratulations, the Bears are going south. Now the Bears are like, just hold it right now. We have dueling offers from the state of Illinois and also the state of Indiana. We'll make sure we get the best deal, and we'll let you know about it, Joe, in late spring.
Yeah, I know. Illinois or Indiana, Arlington Heights or Hammond. It's like, I am so sick. Listen, all of this was about leverage, and that's all this was, right? This was about getting the fan base all riled up in Chicago and having them put pressure on the politicians who have to agree to sign the check. But what fans don't realize is that if you think the money is coming from the owners here in order to get all of this done, it's just not going to be it. But I blame Indiana for acting as if like, oh, hey, we'll pay for it, and they created this entire craziness right now.
I'll tell you the funny thing about that too, Joe. Sometimes like you could have like an NFL team or Major League Baseball team go like, I know I'm not going to get this player, but if my rival's going to get him, I'm just going to keep feeding these ridiculous counter offers here for these contracts that'll just raise that price and then pull out at the last minute and they go to their team. Maybe it's like the Republican state of Indiana is like, you know what? The liberal state of Illinois, we're going to cost you just a little bit more in this. We never think we're getting this, but we'll give a sweetheart deal so crazy that the Bears will have to actually contemplate it before staying in Chicago, Arlington Heights, or just in the state of Illinois at this point right now. Elliot Cadeau, scary moment. Carted off the court here and into an ambulance because he had a reaction. I don't know what the reaction was at this point here, but anytime, look, hey, you got peanuts around, maybe you touched something you shouldn't have. A bee sting here could set that off. Scary situation, though. It looks like he's okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Unless he's, is he gobbling down shrimp on the side? Like, I don't know what's happening here, but EpiPens are important, folks, to have them around, especially. Wouldn't it be crazy if, like, this is the first time this has ever happened, like, you had no idea? I mean, that's a pretty scary situation there, but, hopefully they'll be able to figure out exactly what it was and avoid it in the future here.
Joe, a lot of people, by the way, are allergic to bee stings here. My father is. I am
Yeah.
not one. But did you know while I was live on the air 3 years ago, I got stung by a bee in my office? Never made any sense. But what a great moment that is on tape here. I'm going to have to dig that out here for the people in just
I
a few
like it.
weeks here. Paul Skeens, dominant in the second start, Joe. Are we shocked? No. As I said, it's amazing when the ball's in play, the fielders make routine plays, and you get a good ERA. He still sits at an over 9 ERA, but no fault of his own for day number 1. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run. That's the Paul Skeens we know.
Yeah, and O'Neal Cruz, after forcing him to leave before the first inning was over in his first start against the Mets because he couldn't catch a fly ball. He made up for it though. He gave him a quick 3-run lead there. Hit a bomb too. It's amazing. They do have some talent on this Pirates team. It's going to be interesting to see. Could they be one of those dark horses to make, I don't know, a playoff push here? But 5 strikeouts. I thought he'd have more than that yesterday. But hey, what's the difference? A win is a win, right?
I'll tell you, a win is a win for Michigan State, too. Tom Izzo deserves to stay at Michigan State as long as he wants to. Great historic head coach here. Ride it out with Sparty here. But it looks like he might have been contemplating the Suns' job last summer. I don't want to believe it here, but he's still at Michigan State, so we'll let the facts be facts. He's still head coach there in Michigan State.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, it's just happened, too, is according to him that he was thinking about taking that Suns job before they hired Jordan Ott a couple of seasons ago. Actually, last season. I mean, because Ott has done an amazing job with the Phoenix Suns, by the way. Jordan Ott coming from Cal, I believe, out in that area there. But listen, 31 seasons with Michigan State. Where are you going, dude? You're not suddenly picking up and leaving to the NBA. That's just not going to happen here at this point.
I'm telling you, Joe, you can name any name you want. I think I might know 5 NBA head coaches out of the entire lot at this point. So you just bring up a guy named Ott. I'm just like, yeah, if you told me he was the Knicks head coach, I probably would believe you at this point here. Talking about the Knicks and New York, how about the Liberty? Yeah, business as usual now. Signing players, Stewart and Ionescu to re-sign with the Liberty here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's been a long road here for the WNBA, but they're signed, sealed, delivered, ready to go. And this is, if you're the Liberty, this was priority number 1. Lock up your superstars and let's forget about it and move on and play basketball. And that's exactly what the Liberty did.
NBA Europe, Joe. Here we come. Why? Because billion-dollar offers are exceeding here. The NBA wants to go global. We understand that. But at the detriment to their own league, they probably will let it happen. There's a reason why we took Serie A, right? Down there played in Italy. It doesn't grow out and say we want to be in Russia, we want to be in Africa, we want to be in North America at this point. The EPL, it's world famous, one of the most expensive leagues to get into. You know where it's centered there? In the UK. They're not trying to expand to the United States. Why do we, as North Americans, as our franchises, want to ruin our own sport and put it on another continent instead of just being perfect on our own continent, Joe? Why can't we just have nice things and keep them here?
I agree, but it feels like the NBA soul was sold overseas a long time ago, Donnie, and it's not just, it's about global domination. All of these leagues here, it's global domination. That's what they want. Baseball's always been a world sport here, right?
Yeah.
But now the NBA, the NFL, that's what they want world domination and more money.
But by the way, we also have to understand this too. Like, we always operate like we're sitting here in 2026. It's always going to be the same. In 100 years, you might be able to fly to Paris in like 3 minutes. So at that point, then it's like, yeah, you know what? There's no travel lag, easy to get back and forth. Press a button, telecommute, teleport back to New York City. That makes sense. Right now, it doesn't make any sense. But before you know it, Joe, we will be screaming that, hey, look at this. 2029, Vegas got the Super Bowl. 2035, it's Barcelona. 2045, it's Munich. 2075, I don't know, Siberia at that point. It's all about the money, and the owners want to try to make it. And by the way, owners are pretty good at making money, and that's why they keep on making money. We'll keep doing it with Kevin Walsh, host of Game Time Decisions, coming up next. I got to ask him a pretty important question here coming up.
So much to get into.
So much to get into, so little time. Listen, this is a time of year where it's great basketball. Teams that have to be at their best, some teams at their best for 40 minutes, some teams at their best for 36 minutes. But at the end of the day, you got to play your best 40. Otherwise, you're going home like we saw over the last couple of days.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Massive shift in the sports landscape that the national media desperately does not want to admit. And I am talking about Major League Baseball officially overtaking the NBA as the second most popular sport in America. And the momentum has completely flipped. Numbers don't lie.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Myles Garrett's getting traded, and I think the Eagles make the most sense for the trade. The Browns need a wide receiver.
They do.
They need as many picks as possible. The Eagles are built to win right now. So where do they pick 20 what? Do you have that?
I believe it's 23.
All right, so let's assume it's 23. You give up the 23rd overall pick.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Discussion in March was, this ABS is ruining everything. There's challenges in the second inning and the third inning. And yes, for CB Buckner, that has been the case. But for every other umpire in Major League Baseball, what you're seeing, Donnie, is exactly what you said. This is going to normalize. We did see a lot of success in the first couple of days of the season.
Pro Baseball today, only on SportsGrid.
So Thursday, getting down to the business here on the early line. It's Donnie right side, and it's Joe Ranieri. We're going to welcome in Kevin Walsh. I wanted to bring him up right away because, history around the SportsGrid network. We have a lot of fun times, and a lot of clips go around that be like, man, just show me that clip, and you get a good laugh out of it. Well, I brought one of these clips up to Joe Ranieri, Kevin, just a few moments ago. And you were live on the air with me when this happened. Do you know what I'm about to bring up here at all, Kevin?
No, I mean, that's Donnie, you and I have done a lot of shows together. The amount of information you have given me is simply not enough to make any type of guess.
And no, it's not looking at the return monitor of somebody trying to check in there that drives us nuts during Super Bowl shows or NFL shows. It's not that, Kevin. I was in this office space and let out a, ow! You know
when you got stung by a bee?
See that? I'm not lying. See that, people? I'm not lying.
No, I mean, it did happen. If you're just looking, yeah. Donnie also, I think, once had a stroke during radio and took like a segment and a half off and came right back and just started ripping in Celtics Knicks breakdown.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I mean, it was a good time, that show. Donnie did get stung by a bee though, on air. That really happened.
I saved the beef for a while, Joe. And by the way, the stroke incident was we opened up the show, and I couldn't read the computer screen out of my left eye, so I just threw it to Kevin. Hung on for a segment, said, Kevin, I don't feel all that well. Now, this is how you know I'm sort of a maniac here. I don't like to call out, and I don't care how sick I am. Joe, I went up in this 2 segments to lay down and try to take a nap, then came back, and Kevin's like, you can't do this. Why don't you just take the rest of the day off? I'm for the people, though, Joe. How about that? Almost had a stroke on the air and came back to finish the segment.
I'm just trying to think, did you keep the bee as a pet? Like you said, you held on to the bee? Like what happened to that bee after it stung
he
you?
was already dead. He was already dead at that point, but I found him, set him aside as like a reminder. But then the question always comes up, like, I'm in my finished basement in a corner. Like, how did a bee even get down there? And only one bee, and it found me and stung me on the hand in the middle of a segment. That's how we get down, Joe Ranieri. But we do got to get down to the business. I would like to reminisce the entire segment of the entire show. But we got big business to get to tonight. And that includes the Lakers and the Thunder tonight. Now, you might see OKC runaway #1 overall seed. Here come the San Antonio Spurs. You might think SGA, Kevin's going to be the MVP. Here comes Victor Wembanyama. But we might have a playoff preview here tonight. Lakers, Thunder, 9-point spread. How about that?
Yeah, this should be a lot of fun to follow here tonight. I do think that it's kind of impossible to look at this game not through this MVP race lens that we have going on. It's interesting though, right? Because Luka is somewhat a part of the conversation, and yet the odds would tell you it's really just Shea versus Wemby right now, 30-1 for Luka. Jokic also having maybe somehow the best statistical career of his season and having no chance to win league MVP is incredible as he's priced now at 100-1. I think the trick is, again, what's the Luka number that anyone feels comfortable betting under, where you go, okay, they've adjusted it too much for the moment. Like 32.5 against the Thunder defense isn't easy to come by. 30.5 for SGA. I mean, he usually gets there. So, I mean, is it just kind of a superstar special in a game like this? I guess maybe the question I would almost put back to you guys, and maybe it's rhetorical because there is no legitimate answer. Is there anything Luka and the Lakers can do to actually have Doncic in this MVP race where we start to ask ourselves, maybe Luka's going to win this award?
Joe?
Not as long as Wembayama finishes it out. I don't see him overtaking, that kid. That's the problem here. I mean, all things being equal, LA market certainly is going to garner the kind of consideration there, top of mind. Those were all popularity contests anyway. But what Wembayama is doing, unless he sits out the rest of the way to the postseason, it's kind of hard for me to fathom anybody takes it. Even SGA, it just feels like Wembayama is on a different level right now.
I think the big thing that works for SGA versus Wemby, Joe, is just the record right now. And it's not a lot, but it's enough, I think. But if the Spurs were to catch OKC, then we have a completely different, I think, race on our hands here, right? And I know there are some people who the Thunder's schedule is harder than San Antonio's rest of season. But again, this is one of the toughest games OKC is supposed to play. They're still nearly double-digit favorites because, this team is just priced in a completely different stratosphere, really, than everybody else. I guess maybe just them and San Antonio, maybe full-strength Boston, what they did yesterday, I still somewhat kind of 53 points in the first quarter is just outrageous from that Celtics team there. So I'm looking at Thunder Lakers right now, and it's tough, though, because for the Lakers, we've talked about this, man, I want to say it was Knicks Thunder about a month ago, us three. And we're like, the Knicks don't have to win, but they can't get embarrassed. They can't get punked. And that's what happened. They lost a close one. If you're the Lakers, you don't have to win this game. You can't get embarrassed, though.
How about Spurs Clippers tonight, too? And I asked Joe the same question. He had a pretty good response to this, saying, you know what? Wemby played last night, 41-18. He's going to play again. And Joe's like, yeah, they are 2 games back from OKC. He's in the MVP race. He will play, which brings us up here. Clippers and the Spurs tonight. What do we get out of Wemby? About just watching Wemby play. Kevin, if we're just looking like 2 or 3 years into the future when he adds like 10 or 15 more pounds and really understands the game, as if he doesn't at 41-18 last night, the sky is the limit. What do you think about the Spurs tonight? And also in the playoffs where they own OKC this year, don't they?
Yeah, they've had a lot of regular season success. We'll, see if we get to that series, but, and how it translates. For those, Victor Wembanyama, I believe, is now 25-1 in his last 26 games. The Spurs are 25-2. It just Wemby missed one of the losses, so it feels important to acknowledge. 3.5, though, some number, huh? This Clipper team, all of a sudden, is booked like one of the 6 best. It looks like in basketball.
The basketball god, Kevin Walsh. Do we call him that now? I guess we call him that now. Nice. We'll be right back after the break. Catch him on GTD.
so much to get into.
So much to get into, so little time. Listen, this is a time of year where it's great basketball. Teams that have to be at their best. Some teams at their best for 40 minutes. Some teams at their best for 36 minutes. But at the end of the day, you got to play your best 40. Otherwise, you're going home like we saw over the last couple of days.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Massive shift in the sports landscape that the national media desperately does not want to admit. And I am talking about Major League Baseball officially overtaking the NBA as the second most popular sport in America. And the momentum has completely flipped. Numbers don't lie.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Myles Garrett's getting traded, and I think the Eagles make the most sense for the trade. The Browns need a wide receiver.
They do.
They need as many picks as possible. The Eagles are built to win right now. So where do they pick 21? Do you have that?
I believe it's 23.
All right, so let's assume it's 23. You give up the 23rd overall pick.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Discussion in March was, this ABS is ruining everything. There's challenges in the second inning and the third inning. And yes, for CB Buckner, that has been the case. But for every other umpire in Major League Baseball, what you're seeing, Donnie, is exactly what you said. This is going to normalize. We did see a lot of success in the first couple of days of the season.
Pro Baseball today, only on SportsGrid.
Best bets, we'll give them to you. Yeah, fade the public poll. We got it. But a couple more hot topics here to end out this segment, which includes Pat McAfee. We see him everywhere on ESPN. But the one thing that the Masters doesn't care is about your feelings and what you feel would be good content. They want their own content, and they want it to be seen the way they want it to be seen. Pat McAfee said he's made multiple attempts to reach out to the Masters to host his show there, and they keep telling him, no thanks, buddy. Try again next year.
Yeah, listen, it is a very small country club, and you're not a member. Let's just leave it at that there, Donnie. This is not there's only a handful of guys that are allowed anywhere to promote this at all. And Pat McAfee, you ain't in that crew, my friend. Not happening. So just take the L and move on, because if you ever hope down the road of ever being allowed on the premises at Augusta, don't be poking the bear, because they will put an X through you and you'll never sniff anything about that tournament.
Yep, they would have a heart attack if you showed up in a sleeveless shirt here, took a hit from a bong, a rip from a joint there, crushed a beer on set. They would lose their mind. Like, you know what? We have enough money here. We don't need the distractions at this point. Right or wrong, that's the Masters, and that's what they do. You go there and say, boy, that rough looks a little bit longer. You will be placed in cuffs and escorted off of Augusta National here. Macklin Celebrini, he ain't getting cuffed and leaving anywhere. This kid is the real deal here. Celebrini has 105 points on the season, second most in the season in Sharks history, only behind Big Joe Thornton. Kid's a wheeler and a dealer early on, Joe.
What is he, 18? Like, I mean, it's
amazing.
like
It's crazy.
What is this? I mean, listen, the NHL has got some monster superstars in this next generation coming up. I mean, to say the least, they're in good hands moving forward. Unbelievable. Great job by the NHL, by the way, just restocking every decade at that next group of superstars.
Includes Porter Martone of the Philadelphia Flyers. Aye, yes, sir. But by the way, now's the type of the show we like to reach out to the people, Joe, and see what they're digging on. Here's our Fade the Public poll. It's a way too early poll, Joe, but it is what it is. And we reached out to the people at SportsGrid and asked them a simple question. Which of these Major League Baseball division bottom feeders do you believe has the best chance to actually win their division? Boston, New York, which is the Mets, Chicago, which is the Cubs, and San Diego. currently right now live, Joe, I'm seeing 55.6% said, you know what? I think the Mets can actually win this division and should be the play at plus 135.
Yeah, I'm not buying it at all.
Oh,
Listen,
come
I think
on.
it's a little disturbing on how bad the Cubs have been to start the season, but I do think they will eventually figure it out, and I do think that they will ultimately be the ones that take over that division here. But I get why the Mets, I just don't think they're anywhere in, I think it's Philadelphia or pass for me in that division.
Maybe you could agree at this point early in the season, get those hot starts here. Maybe that carries you through the summer, but there's some really good baseball teams. I went Cubbies in that spot here, but it is what it is. We'll certainly find out here. Best bet time. Let's get after it. Here's bye. You got NHL, NBA, NIT action tonight. Association is where I'm going, Joe, but where are you going tonight with your best bet?
I'm going to go to the association too, Donnie,
Nice.
and I love the value in this spot here. This line was as much as 6.5 last night. It's already starting to come down, and I agree with it because I don't see a lot separating the Phoenix Suns and the Charlotte Hornets right now. And to get nearly 2 buckets of value when, by the way, Mark Williams looks like he might make his return tonight for Phoenix, the big man. I mean, Booker is playing at a ridiculous level right now here. And Dylan Brooks is back, and the Suns have been a fantastic story, just like Charlotte. There's enough firepower here. The difference is that Phoenix actually plays defense. They've lost 5 of 6 on the road, Donnie, and I think that's why this number is a little bit high here. I like the point. I'll take the points, and I will sprinkle a little something on the Suns' money line tonight.
I also, going back to the association, took the stinky Utah Jazz. Of course they covered because everybody bet the other side yesterday. I'm going to do this a little bit different today. Lakers Thunder game. Nobody's bad in this game. OKC, Joe, is favored currently by 9 points right now. Only about 25% of the tickets are coming in on the Oklahoma City Thunder, which means Lakers, that's too many points. I'll take it. You know what I'm telling you right now? We're not taking it. We're laying the OKC. Smarten up, people. We're fading the public here with another W. Take those Thunder tonight to cover by double digits. It's Joe Ranieri. It's Donnie Rightside. The prediction markets, they're coming up next. You're not going to want to miss it. Invest, people, and do it wisely.
It's not sustainable. Pitches throwing too hard and not being healthy, so that don't benefit anybody as well. So it's better to, if a guy throwing 97, why not just throw 94, 93 and learn how to pitch? And then you can last longer. So it's more about keeping the product, on the field and being on a consistent basis.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
What about the expansion stuff?
Yeah, but doesn't it make a lot of sense, Kevin? So it's 28-29. He's already talked about, I'm playing in the Olympics in 2028. Retirement isn't on KD's mind right now. Play in the Olympics in 2028, and then the 2029 season, play where it all started, baby. Seattle.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
If you could argue UConn's more overseeded than, the idea that UConn was battling for a 1 seed, quite frankly, never made any of sense to me when you look at where their metrics were stacked.
UConn will be great as long as they don't play St. John's, apparently, in the tournament. They're good to go there. But you put them at a 5, Kevin. Now here we go again, like last year, Bill Self versus Rick Pitino.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball announced yesterday that they will be having a partnership this season with a company that we've come to be very familiar with over the last 6 months. Polymarket is the exclusive prediction market partner of Major League Baseball and the only platform allows to use teams, logos, and marks. Representing the latest pro league to embrace the prediction markets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.